Hi, I'm Katie Reeve, the principal for the Stellata program here at the Cortlandville campus. I'm going to introduce you to our elementary Stellata teacher, Mr. Salisbury, and have him walk you through what a classroom in our building looks like as we get ready for kids to return in the fall. Hi, Mr. Salisbury. I've got some people here that are looking to see what your classroom's going to look like this fall, so I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right. Hi, my name is Cody Salisbury. I am the elementary Stellata teacher here at the Cortlandville campus. Now, as you can see, my classroom is a little bit different than it was last school year. So we'll start over here with the desks. If you take a look at the desks, you'll notice the spacing between them. Each desk is 6 feet apart, and they're all facing the same direction towards the front of the classroom. Now, you'll also notice that throughout the room, there are 3 centers that are spaced. At each center, the students will be doing work. Now, when they're doing work at each center, they'll be sitting above the smiley faces that are placed on the floor. Those smiley faces are also spaced 6 feet apart. Now, sometimes when the students are doing centers, they'll be asked to rotate from one center to the next. When this happens, students will be called one person at a time to return to their desks. Once everyone is back at their desks, then the teacher will call on each student one at a time to return and go to the next center. Now, we do this so that we can properly maintain social distancing. I also want to touch base on some of the visual reminders that are throughout the classroom. So as you can see over in this center, we have a sign up here that reminds students how to properly maintain 6 feet social distancing. We also have one up in the front of the room. We have another sign up in the front of the room by the door. Actually models for students how to line up before we're going into the hallways. And it shows them how to wear their mask as they do so. Now, when we are lining up to go into the hallways, to go to other parts of the building, it's super important that we all start at our desks. And as we do this, the teacher will call on each student one by one to go to the spot on the floor. Now, these spots on the floor are also 6 feet apart.
Thanks, Mr. Salisbury. You'll notice that Cody and I are both wearing our masks. If they're moving around the classroom or around the building, students need to have their masks on. You'll notice that Mr. Salisbury and I both have our mask on appropriately. It's covering our nose and our mouth so that it's really keeping us safe. Each classroom will also have a sanitizing station where things like disinfecting wipes and hand sanitizer will be, so that students can make sure that their hands are clean, and also staff can wipe things down effectively. Over there you can see that Mr. Salisbury has bins that are individual to each student. So students' materials will not be shared, but instead each student will have their own set of materials that they can use to keep them safe.
Hi, high schoolers and families. Welcome to our high school classroom. This fall, this is what our classroom will look like. Everybody's got their own desks, spaced nice and far apart. We're all facing the smartboard. At our desks, we all have our own work. Once we are finished with our work, we can put it on our red X, or at the front of the room, we will also have a bin to keep our materials. When we need to line up at the door, we will line up individually, and we can stand on these steps to remind us to stay far apart. We'll always use hand sanitizer when coming in and out of the classroom. And we have both of our sinks still. We'll wash our hands with hot water and soap anytime we need to.
All right, so our desks in our classroom are 6 feet apart, so they're 6 feet from the front to the back and between all of us. And we will all have our own bins with materials. Everyone will have a bin, and in your bins you will have a pencil box with all your materials and your fidgets, and you will all have a device, an iPad or a Chromebook that we will use and clean each day. And our desk will also be 6 feet from the front. So when we are at the table for our one-to-one group, we will sit across from each other, and we will work left to right across our table. So everything over here by the green check will be the things that we can work on. And when they're done, they will go to the right, and that will be when we know that our things need to be cleaned at the end.
All right, this is our hand washing station. When you first get here, you want to make sure that you're standing on the dot. Get your hands wet. Use soap, so you get a pump of soap. Rub your hands and rinse them. You could sing one of our fun songs for 20 seconds to help you. And then once you have finished rinsing all the soap off, you're going to get a paper towel from the dispenser, dry your hands off, and then throw it away. Now Mr. Salisbury and I are going to show you what it looks like to line up and walk in the hall socially distanced. You'll notice that we're each standing on one of this pair of blue footprints to show that we're 6 feet apart. I'm going to turn and face this way and walk out, and when we go into the hall, you'll see tape on the floor. Red tape goes one way and blue tape goes the other. So let's go out into the hallway, and I'm going to turn left. So I'm going to be on this blue tape, and Mr. Salisbury and I, again, I'm standing on an arrow, and he's standing there to show that we're 6 feet apart. So we're going to now walk down the hallway, going the correct direction, following the tape, and socially distanced. To keep kids safe, but still provide them the movement and activity that we need, each class will have their own scheduled time for playground use. Staff will disinfect things like the chains to the swings and other equipment on the playground between use to make sure that the equipment is safe for everyone. So when you're at the Cortlandville campus, you'll see that we have signs throughout our building to remind everyone of our protocols and procedures during this time. Reminders for covering coughs and sneezes, washing your hands as frequently as possible, remaining socially distanced, and always remembering to wear a mask as you're moving throughout the building. All right, friends, this is what you might see when you go to get help in the bathroom. I've got my face mask on, my face shield, and some gloves to help you with while you're going to the bathroom and using the sink, anything that you may need when you are in here.
When we are in our classroom, when we are walking around, we need to wear masks. All the teachers will have a mask on, and when you are moving around, you will wear a mask as well. We do have paper masks, and we have some fun designs, so you guys can pick which ones you would like to wear. We have to make sure that they are covering our nose and our mouth.
You'll notice that we have brand new water fountains this year. So to get water, you'll put your water bottle right under. It fills up without having to touch. And then you can just take it away.
This year, for special area classes like art and music, teachers will be pushing into each individual classroom to limit students' movement around the building and exposure to different areas. For physical education, students will mostly be outside as long as the weather permits so that they can be 12 feet apart while doing physical activity. If the gym is used due to weather, then students would be 12 feet apart and doing stationary activities like yoga or have a go noodle or some other movement-based activity inside their classroom. For arrival and dismissal, students will be able to enter through different entrances. Elementary will have their own entrance, as well as middle and high school having separate entrances. A staff member for BOCES will meet each bus as it arrives and help students to get off the bus one at a time and remain socially distanced throughout their arrival and dismissal.